what lies at its heart? Why, nothing, of course. The great absence of all that even the gods cannot comprehend. It eludes us, like infinity, or the finality of tick-tocking time.
Good to see you on the shelter plate.
Now, where is my papa? Did it sprout legs and run away?
Source Hunters, I welcome you once again to the realm of Rivellon after your travels through the chasms of space. Nice to have found a shelter, wouldn't you agree? Where you can come to no harm. I know the imp historian has told you about his agent on Rivellon, and that agent is I. So now that you know of the alliance between me and Sir Zigzax, let us turn to the business at hand. Starstone. And I'll be delighted to give it. Dark webs are being woven around these parts, and it is my firm belief starstones are the flies the sorcerer spiders are trying to catch. It can therefore hardly be a coincidence that Councillor Jake was a collector of the stones we seek. His foul murder and the plight of dying time must somehow be interconnected.
Now, where is my papa? Did it sprout legs and run away?
That means the task you have been given remains crucial. Find the assassin that did away with Jake, for you're bound to stumble upon Starstone along the way. While you were being lectured by our friend the historian and the grande dame of time, I snuck into his house and had a look around. The advantage of being a cat, you know. You go where you please with impunity. And sometimes the lady of the house even rewards you with a slice of fresh herring. That's where I saw them in a cabinet. Mere slivers, but specks of starstones nonetheless. They lay there, silent and innocent, though bloody murder may have been committed in their name. Don't we all long for a sanctuary where our worldly troubles can be held at bay? A bed or a basket so snug it becomes, in a word, safety. But perhaps I speak only for myself, not for veterans such as yourselves that by necessity call any patch of ground they rest upon home. Like any cat worth its salt, though, I deeply cherish a secret refuge unbeknownst to anyone. To be able to repose without a care is such a precious circumstance, save it all too seldomly. Let me phrase it like Zigzax might. A universe without time is like a pen without ink. A pointless instrument stripped of the potential of creation. It is void. It is death. It is nothing. I'll not pretend to have all the answers, all that I understand all that is happening here and out there among the stars, but I do know I'd rather err on the side of caution. If Zigzax worries, I worry. We are talking about a creature, after all, that has reclined among the divines as nonchalantly as you and I lays beside the hearths of home. I met him first, a long time ago, out in the wastes of Youthal Gore. He wondered aloud what on earth a cat was doing out there in the scorching desert, then shared what little food and water he had with him. So I told him who I was and showed him my human form. He laughed and marveled and told me stories about his travels. In the end, he even shared his great sorrow with me. The unspeakable thing you saw through his looking lens. I was awed and frightened, but swore to help him in any way I could. As of now, that includes helping the two of you. Oh, before you go, here, take this teleporter pyramid. A handy toy indeed that Zigzags asked me to give to you. You'll need the other one too if you want to make use of its powers, but alas, I seem to have misplaced it. Don't worry though. Use this one here and it'll take you straight to its twin. Now that this matter has been settled, hunters, I shall detain you no longer. But rest assured, I'll do my share of hunting too. So if you spot a white cat during your travels, do stop to say hello.
Unknown to all time, are you? Leave it to an imp to try to fill our minds with all manner of magical gobbledygook. I'll tell you who you are. Source hunters, members of the most esteemed order in Rivellon. Here to find out and grind out every last speck of dark magic in the realm. There, the enigma is solved.
Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah,
I knew you weren't the type to be taken in by such high-flying pie-in-the-sky nonsense. Magical history imps can fly their floating islands into the end of time for all we care.
pepper. Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah,
My gods! What is going on here? First I have to shoo away a creeping white tomcat, and now there's a perfect stranger in my bathroom. Get out, will you? A magical pyramid, eh? Frivolous and lecherous magic, more like. Leave my house. afore the divines punish you for your aberrant ways. No, if you please. This room is private. If she soaks in flower stink much longer, deer will smell this lady from a field away.
Don't just stand there.
I'll save a leg of something good for when she begins to starve.
Away with you! All right, comrades, nothing to see here. Let's clear out. Give the lady of the house a little privacy.
What are you still doing
Ready to
here?
advance, ready to defend. What can I do for you, comrade?
Out! No, if you please. This room is private. Don't just stand there. Go! Away
Got
with
my
you!
eyes on the prize.
What are you still doing here? Begone!
On the move for cheese. The closest I've got to my match is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's growing more swollen and saccharine.
Glorious to see you once more, fair friend. I hope you've given some thought to my revelation. I think only of your eternal soul, after all. What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin equal in the conduit's eyes, and only through great deeds may enter into her inner ring. You mean you haven't steel yourself, friend? For you're by following her instructions and becoming initiated into the one... Ah, for this hallowed there, she shall go on the path.
He says he's an immaculate. But I thought they'd been banished after the death of the Source King.
Immaculate. Haven't heard of their kind, but I don't like the sound of it.
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder. Ready to have another...
Looking good.
Might need to blow this one open.
You're like a gorilla in a porcelain store.
It's official. The Duke of Ferrol is the worst poet in Rivellon.
In his defense, not much rhymes with murder. Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities. Have no fear, my friend. I'm determined.
Greetings, Source Hunter.
That reward.
Careful, comrade. I think I sense a sorcerer in yonder shadows.
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before. Which one? I've written Esmeralda more works of lyrical mastery than I can count. All that letter proves is my devotion to my lady, not any actual intention to do away with Jake. Yes, she and I have a history. That's hardly as easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or I assure you that the affair was never so steamy and sordid as the busybodies around town make it out to be. Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection for each other. He had his interests, she had hers, and there was little passion left between them. Certainly not an... Which one? I've written Esmeralda more works of lyrical...
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank when I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
That purring sound. Mind control vibrations, I'm sure. Don't be seduced, comrades.
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
I didn't mean to frighten
You'll be
you.
concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you can even fathom, old friend.
Hello again. How can I help you?
Source was in play here, all right. But that doesn't solve the mystery.
Those dark-robed nuts really ruffle my feathers, sneaking around here at all hours of the night.
Pay the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Pay the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff. Not in the mood for cheese. An excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine almond land. Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
A good day to you.
I've just got back from the realm of fairy. It was lovely, but I should have brought my winter boots.
Sorry, sir.
Attention! About face! You Rabarex! Nuts!
Ah, a familiar face.
What is it this time? Katarina's given the go-ahead, has she? Oh, very well then. Tell me when you're ready to begin, and I'll show you to your places and gather you whatever crowd of drunken yokels can be... What is it this time? Ready for your trial by fire, you mean? There's no more savage foe than an audience, my dear. But I'm sure you'll do just fine. Nay, not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered some victims to witness the spectacle, and then you can begin. Any last words?
You hear, distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated. Now, let's not be hasty. They may be dragging their feet, but your show is sure to knock the crowd's socks off. As soon as they settle into their seats, that is. The stage is yours.
What a tale!
Well, what's the hold-up?
By the seven, what a tale!
The crowd seems to know the tale. They wholly approve of your beginning.
Simply marvelous. Simply marvelous.
Simply marvelous. Oh, I hope there's an encore.
The crowd is thrilled. Whatever will happen next is sure to excite them.
Fantastic. Oh, I
The
hope
crowd
there's
seem
an
quite impressed with your delivery. Keep it up.
Fantastic. Oh, I hope there's an encore.
The crowd gasps. They're on the edge of their seats. Go on. Push them over.
Simply marvelous.
Gasps ring out across the audience. They must know how it ends. They simply must. The crowd explodes into applause and appreciation. You've woven them a tale of desperation and hope, and they are alive with the thrill of it.
I haven't seen a show like that in years.
I'm all a quiver.
Performers, showmen, show all of the... Sicil, what you're made of. Apart from beer and flatulence.
By the seven, what a tale!
Come
My
on!
word!
Come on! Can't you hear the
By the seven, what a tale!
What is it this time? Bravo! Bravo! Well, I'm certainly not afraid of admitting when I'm wrong. That was, well, nearly enjoyable. I suppose you earned yourself a little something for your trouble, wouldn't you?
Fantastic.
Come on! Come on!
Enjoying the fair, aren't you? Of course you are.
By the seven, what a tale!
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti... Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. What do you call a source hunter who finds a way to draw a crowd away from a resourceful hunter? Come now, it can't be that hard to find something to draw off the...
Come on! And see the amazing singing Stefan!
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti... It won't be the worst indignation.
What do you think you are doing?
Fantastic.
Today, I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said...
By the seven, what a tale!
Performers, showmen, show all of the... Sicil, what is it this time? Oh, here we go again. Not planning on playing to an empty
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated.
My word! This I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for...
What a tale!
The stage is yours.
My word!
By the seven, what a tale!
Bravo!
The crowd breaks into an approving chuckle. Continue, by all means.
Oh, I hope there's an encore.
Eager to hear more, the crowd leans forward with great interest. One lady in the back is already chuckling. She must have heard this one before.
Fantastic!
Bravo! Bravo!
The crowd's curiosity is piqued. Oh, do go on before they explode.
Simply marvelous.
That's it, Source Hunter. You've got this joyful crowd right where you want them. Now, take them on home.
Oh, I hope there's an encore.
They like you. They really, really like you.
Think a king.
Show all of them. Seal what you're made of. Very flattering.
My word! Who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour.
Fantastic!
So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm. Today, I think, a king, the great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour. So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds.
Bravo! Bravo!
Fantastic!
Today, I think, a king, the great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot.
You there! Take a seat. Prepare to laugh your head off. Cry your eyes out. Hard times, Lord Pinchpenny?
Gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm. Today, I think, a king, the great Sigurd and his rainbow of war
You
machines.
look, but you cannot see.
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew... Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti... Oh, excuse me, I'm trying...
Tricks are for kids. This here is the greatest illusion in Andorra.
Bravo! Yeehaw!
This show is worth the hype, though that...
This show is worth...
Don't ask me what the tale's about.
What a tale! What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, there stands the world. Oh, I'm nothing but your average man taking in the best show I've ever seen. I'm amazed and astounded that... Well, I've stumbled into quite the fine gig. I'll just let my appreciation for Reggie's work be known, and he slips me a few gold coins in return. My voice happens to carry pretty far. Cecile hears me. Cecile wants to see what the fuss is all about. And let me tell you, this amazing show just can't be beat.
Ghost who knew Elba, who knew
Well,
Elliot.
drawing a crowd's what I do best, and I'd be glad to do it for your little show. 100 gold up front, and yours will be the hottest ticket in Cecile.
Blues and gory reds that he ordered a...
You're lost, buddy. You know where to find me if you choose.
them all and see the amazing singing Stefan! Sicil's only sentient severed head!
Damn! My word!
Fantastic!
Bravo! Bravo!
Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines.
What's that nutter on the back hollering about?
Don't ask me what the tale's about. I'm just here for the eye.
The king had a great thirst.
Back for more, I see! Well, I think you've gotten quite familiar enough by now, thanks. Are you impressed by my prowess in the arts of entertainment? Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. And that crowd warmer has increased my profits by... Ah! Yes, I enter Reginald the Illusionist! My word!
Bravo!
Today, I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines.
I think I can
It is
just
said,
sneak
and this I
past.
have heard from a ghost who knew Elva, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour. So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds, that he ordered a contest. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Today, I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elva, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. Well, drawing a crowd's what I do best, and I'd be glad to do 98, 99, 100. Looks like all's in order, Chief. So, ready for a bigger crowd than you can shake a stick at? Stand back and watch this.
My word!
from a ghost who knew Elba,
My
who knew
word!
Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd
Fantastic!
that the king had a great
What is it this time? Well, I must say that was, well, impressive. A bit like, oh, here we go again. Try not planning on playing to an empty audience.
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated.
Today, I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. It won't be the worst indignation.
The stage is yours.
Well, what's the hold up?
Oh, I hope there's an
The
encore!
crowd breaks into an approving chuckle. Continue, by all means.
Oh, I hope there's an encore!
Eager to hear more, the crowd leans forward with great interest. The crowd's curiosity is piqued. Oh, do go on before they explode. That's it, Source Hunter. You've got this joyful crowd right where you want them. Now, take them on home. They like you. They...
Oh, it took my breath away, it did.
I haven't seen a show like that in years. I'm all a
waiting
quiver.
for his big debut. It's a future of entertainment. Come on, come on. Can't you hear the stage calling you?
I haven't seen a show like that in years. I'm all a quiver.
couldn't have sprouted legs and wandered off. He couldn't have sprouted legs and wandered off. Stefan! He couldn't have sprouted legs and wandered off. Stefan, Stefan, Stefan! I will never forget you. What's the point anymore?
All right.
Performers, showmen, show
wow.
what you're made of.
All right.
Oh, that Gallagher is quite the performer. One of my own ilk. Sometimes all the flies need is a little honey. Oh, just like old times.
Sherman, show all of them. Cecil, what you're made of.
Stefan, Stefan, Stefan! I will never...
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn.
These damn birds won't fetch more than a pittance.
Not here, not now. We'll be better off speaking in the privacy of the cellar. There are eyes and ears. It won't be the word. Ah, here we are. Wait a moment. this
Bleeding
isn't
waste,
regular
standing here
cellar.
without so much as a piglet in the
Come
pen.
sort- Not here, not now. You know the healer's clinic, don't you? He keeps a spare key right near the place in a pen guarded by a rather lonely little sheep. You can't miss the bugger.
Standing here without so much as a piglet in
Not
the
here,
pen.
not now. It won't be the...
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
So, which of you is more deserving of life? Come, make your case. So, which of you is more deserving of life? Come, make your case.
But if one were to reduce the quantity of skull dust by... Oh, a source hunter. Imagine that. Quite a bit more petite than the last of your kind I encountered, aren't you? Yes, by nearly 20 centimeters of tibia, as my memory... No matter. Even if it couldn't spare its heartiest specimen, I'm sure the Order sent the individual with the next highest probability of success. Yeah? Me? Why, I'm More than a little surprised you haven't heard of me. Perhaps I can jog your memory. It was I who cured the Duchess of Arata of her unslakable thirst, a simple pinch of Atropa belladonna in her morning tea. I who discovered that aging itself can be halted by a single application of Cicuta Douglasii on the tongue. Not to mention that it's been my guidance that has permitted my apprentice Evelyn to make quite a name for herself around Sicile of late. Yes. If that's how we're referring to the secretive use of a revolutionary healing method she refuses to share with her own master. She's in the other room as we speak. Perhaps you can prevail upon her to offer a demonstration. She's gotten hold of a stone, supposedly capable of fantastic feats of healing, but she won't let me take the briefest look at it. She claims to have gotten the relic from a little northern town, Silverglen by name, and that an abbot there blessed it with the power to heal. Utter rubbish, I say. But with these blasted undead haunting the travel routes, I can hardly march up to Silverglen to learn the truth myself. Well, she certainly possesses a critical eye and an exacting manner when it comes to making difficult medical decisions. I expect she'll be a very successful healer in her own right when the time comes. She is learning from the best, after all. Certainly, what would you like to know? The counsellor. Terrible loss, that. Though we were hardly more than acquaintances, I knew him to be a devoted civil servant. From what I can tell, it seems to be a simple case of jealousy turned violent. The affairs of his wife, Esmeralda, were hardly a secret, you know. I've applied myself to that problem for 2 years and still haven't come a step closer to solving it. I declare it an act of the Almighty's, if I believed in such things. Some events, Source Hunter, can be neither controlled nor understood by mere men.
Healing stone. Interesting indeed.
Nothing sets me on edge like inexplicable magic.
That relic of Evelyn's, the so-called healing crystal. I've seen one like it before, and by the Patriarch's pockets. It's a relic of Source. One look at that gem will be enough to convince me it's no force of good, but a bloodstone through and through.
Those men hardly sound long for this world.
I've come across such a stone before. It may be capable of healing, as the good doctor describes, but its origins are as dark as midnight. Bloodstone is so named for a reason, you see. What starts as a pretty gem is corrupted by sick sorcerers who infuse it with the blood of the slain. If that stone is what I suspect, I wouldn't trust Sicile's so-called healers any more than I'd trust a pyromancer on a wooden boat.
Neither of you cares to plead for his very existence.
Moo! Don't disturb Master Theliron now. He's been so busy with his research, the poor dear hasn't had a proper night's sleep in months. Moo! Don't... Moo! Don't... Moo! Moo!
I give milk. I give wool. And what do I get in return? One way or another, they always try to fleece me. Especially that Evelyn. She's out to get me. I know it. Meh. If you think black sheep are weird, try weird sheep.
Not here, not now. You know the healer's clinic, don't you? Oh, what's his name? Theliron. Yes, behind Theliron's house of healing, he keeps a spare key right near the place in a... Not here, not... It won't be the...
The earth here seems to have been freshly fertilized and aerated. Obviously, someone has taken great care to maintain this gravesite.
That's right. Let's get digging.
As you prepare to break ground, you gaze at the dirt beneath your feet once more.
Here's hoping we find something worthwhile.
You plunge your shovel into the earth.
Seven grant abundance.
Ah, a little privacy at last. Out of earshot of that contemptible jester, we can finally speak freely. My true name is Nick. In life, I was an entertainer aboard the ship of the famed Pontius Pirate. I once dared to defy him, and he savagely beheaded me for the attempt. Little did I know the abuse was only beginning. A wandering sorcerer, mad as the day is long, found my severed head on the beach and resurrected me. I spent months in his company listening to him blather on about his every inane opinion. When I asked him to return my head to my body, it must be in the Black Cove still, he became enraged and tossed my head into the sea. Reginald stumbled upon me some days later and consigned me into his horrid little show. I know not how long I've been entertaining slack-jawed imbeciles at the Seal Fair. All I know is I just can't take you anymore. More than anything. But the chances are so slim with the Black Cove utterly infested with Pontius's undead cronies. My poor lost body is among them, sightless and silent in their vile company. For all I know, they're using it as a coat rack. Traveller, if there were any way you would brave the cove's depths and reunite me with myself, you'd be doing me the only kindness I'd have received in as long as my poor memory serves. That charlatan doesn't have a lick of his own talent, so he begs, borrows and beats it from those of us with a real vision for the stage. What I wouldn't give to give old Reggie a swift kick in the jugglers. Oh, to have legs again. It won't be the worst indignation I've suffered.
That rooster thinks he's such hot stuff, posing for Jerome like that. Someone ought to tell him his waddle waggles when he crows, same as the rest.
In their mouldy boots.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Don't talk to me. You're making me lose focus. Can't you see I'm busy modeling? Obviously, someone's plumage isn't magnificent enough to inspire genius. All those naysayers in the past, see what I've become. Hundreds of years from now, people will wonder, who is that cook? It must have been a grand cook, so inspired.
Good day to you.
On the move for cheese.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become. If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes. Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn. Dearest customer, I've never seen an aura so plagued by ether. Thank Astarte, I've just the earth scroll to ground you.
Feed a big cheese on your book with a wheel of the good stuff. On the move for cheese. The excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Auburn land.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Oh, hello, love. Nice day for...
Size deals ever seen.
Aim straight, aim true. Arrows by the dozens. Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours from the sea.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Fresh haddock, perfect for a fry-up.
Feed a big cheese on your brook with a wheel of the good stuff.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes. That thief is free for now, but I... Sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
It's locked.
To leave the city is to venture into danger.
Sodden,
Be
all
careful.
the way...
I wouldn't venture too far out.
I wouldn't venture too far out of town if I were you. Whose invention? The stasis blaster. Quite a sight, no? The ray can singe a zombie or skeleton to ash in a matter of seconds. These days, we Legionnaires hold a lottery to see who gets to man the things. You can bet it's no small amount easier to blast those flesh-eating monstrosities from a distance than to get within striking range. Don't ask me how the blaster works, though. I just make sure the thing's hitting its target.
Baking like a cake.
I prefer to drive my sorrows with ale. So, the wizard's crafted a device intended to keep the undead at bay, has he? Little did he expect we'd recognize the hulking source sapphire he's using to fuel it. Careful now, comrades, and tread lightly. There's no telling when that madman's doomsday device might gain sentience and turn its rays on us. Magical sort will do anything to increase their own personal powers, be it offering their souls to demons, sacrificing the innocent, or installing dark machinery in a city they were sworn to protect. But have no fear, comrades. Together, we form an elite squad of unstoppable source-hunting savvy. We shan't rest until Cecile is safe once more.
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another "this here's my family business"? Yes, there's been a Roberts escorting stiffs into the next life since the foundation of Cecile itself. They don't write epics about morticians, but I'm proud of my work nonetheless. Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like. I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. How do you... Ah, the ledger, is it? Fool was I to leave it in the open. Or perhaps I even looked forward to being found out. Well, as you know, I have my suspects in the matter. What would you like to know? Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know. And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning, before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains. Can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't. I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without raising eyebrows. It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary. And there was something about her that night. Some kind of excitement. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts. That there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange reaction to an occasion such as that. And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed eager. I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlor. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched, lured me outside claiming she needed air before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda. That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. That old bag's as fat as a heifer. She won't miss that sheep for a moment, and she sure as hell won't starve over it.
The death man is nervous as a squirrel. I'm certain he's hiding something.
She said it, not me.